It doesn't make sense for us to fight anyone's fight anymore, right? You know, the Palestinians, sadly enough, are being, you know, genocided, sadly enough. But that's what this country does to people. And so that's what's happening. But that's not our fight, because none of these people reciprocate our sweat and tears, our sweat and blood when we join their fight and struggle. It's never reciprocal. Just like we got Trump talking about he's moving into all these different major cities in America with some to show some kind of force. And we know that always get the white supremacists penises hard. Ooh, ooh. They like to see that force and oppression of people. So they're never going to change their wicked ways, right? They get off on that. So we just got to accept that. That's the very nature of the beast. We just got to accept it. There's nothing we can do about it. But, you know, they like to see that. You know, a show of force while their stomachs are now touching their backbone when the economy is falling apart. So most people cannot survive what's been happening in the economic system that we've found ourselves in, this fake capitalism, right? They've been propagandized with all these fake isms, whether it's capitalism, communism, socialism. At the end of the day, America is wicked. It's not the system, it's not this fake economic system that they're talking about. At the end of the day, they idolize a few at the top and everybody at the bottom. They idolize that. So every system they always build leads to feudalism, because that's what Europe was. It was a feudal society. And so the capitalism that they created and kept propagandizing to everybody and them voting against their own best interests, you know, it's feudalism now. Everybody cannot afford rent, cannot afford groceries, cannot afford their whole life. And it was the baby boomers that sold out everybody. Now no one can afford to, no one can afford a home. Everything's being destroyed. But they believe that this moronic Trump, who's been missing for 5 days, has been their hero. I try to tell you, there's no such thing as a right-left divide in this country. That's phony. Because the same ruling elite control both parties. So what would have been no difference if Kamala Harris or Trump was in there? Because the wars are still continuing. Right? Trump's supposed to be stopping the wars. Okay? That's what he told you. Trump is going to stop the wars. We're going to stop these wars. And then, you know, he's doubling down on the wars. America cannot win them because they were trying to weaken Russia. You had all the propagandic lies about how Russia was supposed to win into Ukraine. When America and NATO kept urging slowly eastward on Russia's borders. But you've been propagandized. Russia is an aggression. And all those other lies. And so these morons have used the American dollar as a weapon, and now the dollar's falling apart. Right? They used the American dollar as a weapon, as a tool to destroy other people by putting sanctions on them, unfairly stealing Russia's money out of these central banks. You know, so America's become a very rogue nation. You know, they were trying to talk about Venezuela, right? They don't give a damn about Venezuela. You said they're trying to go into all this fake. See, remember, our Congress is bought and paid for. They do not represent no American people. They represent the oligarch. So you see how they were going and talking about Venezuela. Venezuela doesn't traffic cocaine. That's Colombia, but they control Colombia.